Albert Down Under. Albert was what you'd call thwarted. He had long had an ambition which was to save up and go to Australia. The saving up bit was the hitch. He'd a red money box on the pot shelf, a post office thing made of tin, but with him and his dad and the bread knife, it never had anything in. He was really held up for bobbins, as the folk in the mill used to say, till he hit on a simple solution. He'd go as a young stowaway. He studied the sailing list daily, and at last found a ship as would do. SS Mosser, a freighter from Fleetwood, via Cape Horn to Woolloomooloo. He went off the next evening to Fleetwood, and found her there loaded and cold, slipped over the side in the darkness, and downstairs and into the hold. The hold it was stacked up with cargo. He groped with his hands in the gloom, squeezed through bars of what felt like a grating, and found he had plenty of room. Some straw had been spilled in one corner. He thankfully threw himself flat. He thought he could hear someone breathing, but he was too tired to fret about that. When he woke, they were out in mid-ocean. He turned, and in light which was dim, looked straight in the eyes of a lion that was lying there looking at him. His heart came right up in his tonsils as he gazed at that big yellow face. Then it smiled, and they both said together, "Well, isn't the world a small place?" The lion was none other than Wallace. He was going to Sydney too, to fulfil a short starring engagement in a show at Doranga Park Zoo. As they talked, they heard footsteps approaching. "Someone comes," whispered Wallace. "Quick, hide!" He opened his mouth to the fullest, and Albert sprang nimbly inside. 'Twas the captain on morning inspection. When he saw Wallace pretending to doze, he picked up a straw from his bedding and started to tickle his nose. Now Wallace could never stand tickling. He let out a mumbling roar, and before he could try to stop it, he'd sneezed Albert out on the floor. The captain went white to the whiskers. He said, "I'm a son of a gun." He had heard of beasts bringing up children, but it was the first time that he'd seen it done. He soon had the radio crackling and flashing the tale far and wide of the boy who'd set out for Australia, stowed away in a lion's inside. The Key it was jammed with reporters when they docked on Australian soil. They didn't pretend to believe it, but it was too good a story to spoil. And Albert soon picked up the language when he first saw the size of the fruit. There was no more by gum now or champion. It was wacko, too right, and you beaut. They gave him a wonderful fortnight. Then from a subscription they made, sent him back as a parcel for Britain, carriage forward and expenses paid.